the Nice Guys on Business podcast. And may the force be with them. They need all the help they can get.
Strickland, Doug is your father.
Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Hey, Nice Guy community, welcome back. Welcome back. My name is Strickland Bonner. On the other side of the microphone, Mr. Doug Sandler, together with the Nice Guys on Business.
Strickland Bonner. It is, it's coming close, very, very close to holiday time.
It is. It is. It's like we're a week away from Christmas and Hanukkah on the same day this year.
Same day, yeah. And we'll talk about this next week, I'm sure, more in depth. But about my visits by my in-laws and for the fact that I have family staying at my house for 9 days.
Ooh, that's a long time.
That is a long time, especially when you're used to not having anybody else live in your house except you and your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, long time for sure. Hey, who's on the show today? Is it Ryan?
Ryan Phelan, who runs Adestra, and it is all about digital marketing. It's really, really interesting stuff, and he's actually getting married soon.
Oh, how do you know that?
Because it's in the show notes. Well, actually, show notes say getting married in a few weeks. I don't know when you recorded it. Maybe he's married now.
Oh, he could be married. He might be married. He went out of the country. Now he did say he was going out of the country on business. So I don't know what kind of business it is. Maybe he did. Maybe he did get married, but is writing it off as a business expense. I don't really know.
Got it. Well, it's how to amaze subscribers and add value with its dynamic content. So we've all got, I'm sure, anybody that is doing any email marketing at all does what the hell is it called? Like I want to say subscriptions, but it's like
the email campaign, like MailChimp?
Yeah, campaigns, exactly. Email campaigns. Well, what Adestra does is it really helps you hone in on specifically what individual customers want, what they like, and those type of things, so you can be much more personalized with these type of campaigns.
Well, what's really interesting about Ryan is that he actually what really brought me together with him initially was the fact that the employees and the culture over at Adestra is very, very similar to a large organization that just has it all together. I think one of the biggest hassles that I find that when I walk in and do any kind of consulting with any kind of organization is they can't get on the same page with their employees and their management team.
Yeah.
And that has nothing necessarily to do with the product and service itself, but it has everything to do with it, because imagine having some sort of customer service conversation with anybody within an organization that is just not together. Right. You can't get the right answers. You can't get the right information. They're passing the buck all the time. And I got a totally different vibe when I spoke to Ryan. I really thought that he enjoyed working in his company and that the culture setup was tremendous. So that's always good as well.
No, it's all data-driven automation, and it is about getting as much information as you can from your customers. But, I think there are a lot of companies that don't realize how valuable some information is that you get from a customer, like what they've purchased or when their birthday is, or who knows, all kinds of other little things. And these guys are totally data-driven to make sure they personalize the experience for your customers.
All right, so let's get to our interview with Ryan. But before we do that, Strick, you don't happen to have the Nice Guys on Business promise statement right in front of you, do you? Because if you don't, I know I do.
Oh, well, I read it on Wednesday, so why don't you read it today?
Excellent. Well, the Nice Guys on Business promise statement right here is to provide a learning experience that is entertaining and adds value to your life. If you feel as though we are on that mark, off the mark, somewhere around mark, I don't even like Mark. If you feel like Mark is not the right guy for us, can you reach out to us? My Twitter handle at DJ Doug, that guy over there, Nice Guy, at Nice Guy on Biz with a Z. Or you can feel free on Wednesdays. That is our open line day, the Dialing for Doug day. Please dial 410-340-6861. That is Dialing for Doug. Wednesdays, 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And all right, Strick, I think we're ready to get to this interview with Ryan Phelan.
Ryan Phelan, let's get on with it.
Today's guest, Ryan Phelan, is all about fostering creativity and helping you kind of capitalize on what you're amazing at. As an expert in the digital media space, Ryan speaks all over the country on the topic of digital strategy. Welcome to the Nice Guys on Business podcast, Ryan.
Thanks, Doug. Great to be here. This is a lot of fun.
We haven't even started the fun yet. Wait until I just did an interview a few moments ago, and I don't know about you, but I'm still in my pajamas. Are you still in your?
You know what? I am actually in my workout clothes, and I've had video calls today. So
yeah, that's good.
Which has been just people get on and like, what are you wearing? I'm like, I worked out on this.
Well, so you're in Dallas, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So help me for a second, because you work for a company called Adestra, and Adestra is all about, well, why don't you, I don't have to say what your company does. Why don't you tell us what Adestra does, and then we'll talk about some of the things that Adestra does. But I was more interested because of a conversation that we had when we met in New York a couple of months ago, just about understanding how you guys value employees and what relationships are all about with your organization. So, but let's do the props, the right thing here. Let's talk about Adestra for a second, so that we can pay the bills.
Yeah, sure. I'm great at pitches because they don't last very long.
Okay, good.
Adestra is a global enterprise email service provider. We help our clients to send email to their prospects, their customers, and their subscribers, so that they can monetize email and communicate their brand message to the end user. We're a 13-year-old company, global company, Sydney, London, Dallas, New York, Boston. So if you want more information, go check out adestra.com. Other than that, that's the end of the pitch.
Okay, that was cool. And thank you, Adestra, for sponsoring today's show and showering the Nice Guys on Business with all of the dollars that you have sent our way. So we appreciate that. And maybe you weren't aware of that's how that worked.
I wasn't aware. It's amazing that the guys are working that good.
But the thing that really I think connected the two of us, I was up, Nice Guy community, just so you know, I was up in New York or a couple of months ago as of the airing of this, and Ryan and I had a chance to get together, and he got a copy of my book, and we started talking just about the importance of relationships in business, and I think that one of the things that we really chatted about and would hit a home run with me was how your organization and how your philosophy is on treating employees. Now, I know that sounds like a far off topic, like, well, who doesn't treat their employees properly? But what's the difference that you think that Adestra makes, or maybe that your philosophy makes in helping employees be more valuable to their organizations?
Yeah, I think we take a unique position in the marketplace, and there's a few companies that are doing this, but we see as employees first. If we're taking care of our employees, creating a great atmosphere for them to work, create great relationships, give them the tools that they need, open the lines of communication between the C-suite and the person that's putting in campaigns as a marketing manager. If we allow that interaction, and we do on a regular basis, we feel like we take care of our employees, and that trickles down, because if you've got a happy employee, if you've got somebody that's just thrilled to death to be there, then that passes on to everybody they interact with. Everybody's seen as a team. Everybody's seen as being taken care of. Everybody's seen as the business having, their interest in mind. And that's one of the most important things is, how many times have you been in business and you're like, they don't understand my needs. They're just in it to make a buck. And yes, we're in it to make a buck because we're not a nonprofit. But we put our employees first in a lot that we do. And that has shown us a huge return over the last 12 years of our company. So
let's take it to the extreme that you're dealing with a company, or you have a company that doesn't do that. And we've all been in those storefronts, or within those utilities, or we've all talked to those companies on the phone. What do you think it is that separates a company, aside from just the way they treat their employees? I mean, because it can't possibly just be that simple. C-suite treats frontline people well, and therefore the frontline treats customers well. There's got to be this whole philosophy. Is there something that's written that your organization has, or is it just a feeling and a culture?
It's what we've written as our values, as the values that we have for the company. And respecting our employees first is an important value that we have, that we've had over the last 12 years. It's not only written, but it's practiced, right? One of the things, our values don't just represent a poster on the wall.
Oh, I hate that.
I know, right?
I hate when that happens. I hate when that happens.
The motivational poster on the wall, it's like, well, that's just lame, right? It actually transcends itself into a lot of the things that we do, not only in how we treat our client partners, but how we hire people, right? Everybody that's hired within our organization is hired based upon how we think they'll fit in with those values. Have they, in their career, communicated those values and what they've done? Does it come out naturally, or is it forced? Because we're not going to get into a position where we're like, these are our values. Do you like these? It's like, tell me about your career. Tell me about what you want to do in life. and it's like, okay, well, your answer was pretty good without telling telling us what the answer is.
How do you think a guy that wrote a book called Nice Guys Finish First? How do you think that he'd fit into that order?
Oh, it would be fantastic. I mean, and the values aren't anything complex. It's striving for excellence. It's honesty, integrity, efficiency, and agility, understanding and solving problems, accountability and recognition, and transparency and communication. We practice that in every department, every individual, every practice that we have, not only internally but externally.
But do you think that the difference between a company like Adestra, and there are many companies like Adestra that are out there, fortunately there are many, and companies, and again, I hate to mention any names, but I've used them several times, and I'm not saying that because I'm mentioning these names, you agree with this, because I don't know, you might have these as your prime customers for all I know. But you walk into a Kmart, or you walk into Sprint, or you walk into AT&T, or you go into any organization that you feel like you're just a freaking number, and what you do makes absolutely no sense. I mean, there are stories that would, and I don't have to tell you the stories because you've experienced these stories yourself with shitty customer service along the way.
Yeah.
What is it though? I mean, those companies, I really think that those companies think that they do a good job.
Oh gosh, yeah, because they have measured themselves on customer satisfaction, right?
Right.
And it's this NPS number, it's this ethereal number that says, okay, our customers are satisfied and we're good. We actually take it a step farther. So it's not just a score, right? We have a ton of measurement inside our company as to, hey, how did this interaction go? But that's one of the things. It really comes into, do you believe it in practice? So I'll give you a perfect example. We, in our support organization, don't have tickets. What we have is the person you talk to, the minute you pick up the phone or you chat with us or send us an email, that's the person that handles it throughout the process. And they don't let it go until it's solved.
Mm-hmm. That's that alone is amazing, because I can't tell you, I was just reading an exchange on Twitter from a friend of mine who's a part of our Nice Guy community, and he was just explaining the back and forth, not only with the organization, but with the 5 people that he had to deal with and re-explain the situation, even though it's right there in front of everybody on the computer screen. You're dealing with different personality. Everybody's got a different answer, and that's very challenging as a customer to know that you have all of this. It's like insurmountable. It's like, just forget it. Keep my money.
Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you the amount of times I haven't contested something to get my money back just because I don't want the pain of going through 12 levels of escalation.
Right. So, all right. So you guys, and that's great that you handle it that way. Now, how did that start? Did it start because it was a small organization that grew to a point where everybody said, we're just people, or did it get to, and I'm assuming Adestra isn't a big organization.
We have about 150 employees now, but we've grown like a lot of the startups that you and I both work with. We grow based upon a gradual growth. We're not jumping ahead and overextending ourselves. So this started from day one, where 4 of the founders got around a table and kind of thought this up and started to code it and started relying on each other. And then when they brought those people in, they were kind of indoctrinated into how that is. And as we've grown, because we've grown slowly over the last 11 years and aggressively over the last year and a half, we've just hired that way. And it's just been something it just happens, right? And I think that's back to how we hire for it. But the CEO, the 4 co-founders are as important to the values that we have and the employee first mentality that we have as anybody. I mean, they are out there talking to people. I mean, I go over and go to the office and see the CEO, and he's roaming around the office, sitting and talking with people. And he's not just talking to check in. He's talking because he's genuinely interested. Right. He's not looking to like grill you and find something wrong. He's like, oh, that's cool what we're doing. And then, and then he's wanting to know from another person. So it's just an authenticity. And I think that's the big thing is these guys are authentic. and they've bred a culture of authenticity and honesty.
And that's truly one of the success secrets that's out there. If you are authentic and you bring your real self to the job every day, and you're not wearing this stupid ivory tower uniform that so many C-level guys, unfortunately, they let it go way to their head, and they're in it for the salary, and they're not in it for the people. Because many of our organizations, many of the people that listen, run organizations or have small businesses of their own, help me break it down so that they can understand from their perspective. All right, now we have a company that's not 150, but we have a company that's one person or two people or three people. Can you give me some items, or maybe an action item that they can do that they can also start this process of developing this type of culture within their small business?
Yeah. One of our values, or two of our values, is transparency and communication. And if you've got a smaller company, think about this. If you're the boss and you've got one or two employees, when was the last time you did a couple of things? Number one, took them out and bought them a beer, or bought them a drink, or bought them dinner, right? In a previous life, at a previous job, I was incredibly successable because I bought my team drinks all the time. But when was the last? Yeah, exactly. I mean, it worked. So the second thing is, when was the last time you got to know them as an individual, what their goals are, what their past is? And it's important. Now, a lot of people always reel back from that and go, listen, I'm not hiring a friend, I'm hiring an employee. And that's true. There is a line between business and personal, but if you want people to be invested in you, you have to be invested in them. And so you have to understand what makes them tick, what motivates them, what their past has been. And then on the other side of it, tell them where you want this business to go, what your goals are, what your history has been, what motivates you, what you have for hopes of this company, and how you need their help. That's one thing when I first joined this company, the CEO and one of the other co-founders actually said, we need your help. We need your help to do X, Y, and Z. It wasn't just, hey, we need a seat filled, right, and you meet the requirements on a job description. It was, I need your help to get this, and I'd love for you to come help us. Now, there's a humility to that and authenticity to that just starts to change your mindset.
Excellent, and great advice for sure. I know that you do a lot of work with the Accelerators, business startups in Dallas. Can you share a little bit about some of the things that you've been able to pull away from that, not only as somebody that helps to start other businesses and help other people with advice and business learning, but it takes what are some of the things that you've actually learned from those from Accelerators?
God, it's just an approach. It's a way to think of, always stay fresh and thinking about something that exists. A lot of the startups we work with, they're all solving a problem. Mm-hmm. Here's a deficiency in the marketplace. Here's where, an idea. And that idea blossoms to a product or to an MVP or to something, right? And what I always take away, and the reason why I and a bunch of us do this is, number one, it's an opportunity to give back. But two, they teach us as much as I'm teaching them about how to think outside the box, how to think of the next step, how to really be able to explain why you do something or why you're motivated that way or how a particular age group is working. I'm working with, right now I'm working with an outfit in Dallas that's focused on medical startups. Now, I don't know anything about medical except for what I pay my doctor on a regular basis, but I am learning so much from these entrepreneurs in how they're approaching a problem as complex as medical, mm-hmm. and whether that's a device or whether that's an app or whether that's an online resource. I'm learning that, the no holds barred approach. I want to get the answer. I have no fear. I'm going to go ask a doctor. I'm going to go ask the head of this department. And just the path they're taking and what they're teaching me is to keep it fresh, to always kind of think not like somebody who's been working at a company for a year and a half or 5 years, but think of, approach it in an incredibly new way. Come up with a new solution instead of just revamping an old one.
Outside the box thinking is always to your advantage. Help me make it so that everyone in our community that is ready to follow their passion, because I know you see a lot of that within the accelerator and the startup world, people following exactly what they want to be doing. So help me so that everyone in our community that's ready to follow their passion and do what they're put on this earth to do can actually see their way clear to doing it. Because I think there's a big difference between seeing your way or actually having the drive to do it and then actually doing it. And you've witnessed this probably many times in the accelerator world. Oh
gosh, yeah. People are dipping their toe in. And Mark Cuban, who's here in Dallas and does a lot of stuff with the startup community and is on Shark Tank, he has a great saying: you either got a hobby or you got a career or you got a startup, right? You're either an entrepreneur or you're a hobbyist. And I think people just wake up and they know that the next step is for them to plug themselves in. It's like anything. If you're just dipping your toe in something, if you're working on something in the evenings or on the weekends or when you have a spare moment, that's great in the beginning stages because you need that, because a paycheck comes in and whatever. But at a certain point, you need to throw everything you've got into this. Mm-hmm. And you need to scare yourself a little bit. That's one thing about a lot of these entrepreneurs that I work with. Yeah. They're motivated because they're scared to fail. Yeah. I think we are all in that position. We have this other income that we have, and we're afraid to let that go. And then when we do let that go, it's like, oh shit, I really did this. I'm messed up now. Do you have time for a few more questions? I know we're running short on time, but I have this rapid fire portion of my Q&A that I'd like to get to, and so I'm going to ask you 5 questions. I haven't prepped you, just so Nice Guy Community is aware of this. Haven't prepped you with any of these questions. 5 questions. Each one of these, I'm going to do my best, although I suck at this part. I'm going to do my best to try not to interrupt you, but within 20 seconds, try to develop the answer as best you can. So 20 seconds to answer each one of these 5. Or each one of the 5. Are you ready to go? Let's go.
Okay. All right. Be relatable. What actually do you suck at, Ryan?
I suck at the tactical. I hate the tactical piece of my job or of marketing. So putting things into a platform or pulling reports, that kind of stuff, I suck at it. I like getting the net result, but I suck at it. Okay, that's a good one. Be transparent. How did you pay your bills when you first got going? Oh my gosh, I scrimped and saved, and I ate macaroni and cheese a lot. And I actually balanced my checkbook every night. Yeah, it's very therapeutic. I do a lot of work with, even though there's not a lot of money in there, I do a lot of work with my my Wells Fargo account also. I just sit online and I just make sure that I like to balance it to the penny. I don't know. That's just how I am. And as a creative guy, that's not really typical for my nature. But anyway, I do. Be confident. What do you do as an entrepreneur that's as good as it gets? Being up on stage in front of 400 investors and mentors and people who want to invest in your company, and being able to pitch a company or an idea, that is as exciting as it gets. Yeah, it is definitely exciting, and that's good that you're good at that. Be humble. What experts do you need to call upon to make shit happen when shit's not happening? Oh gosh, I call my boss. I call the co-founder of the company. I call the founder of the company. I call some of my best friends that are mentors to me. But within my company, I call my boss. We're that transparent. That's great. That's great that you can have that kind of relationship. Be realistic. Can you see where you're going to be in 90 days, or how far into the future can you actually see? I'm going to be here until they kick me out the door because this is the best job I've ever had. That's really good. Definitely good. Thanks for doing the rapid fire Q&A. You bet, Doug. Do you have a cell phone anywhere near you? I do. Okay, great. Do you have an iPhone or something inferior? I have something superior like an Android. Oh, okay. So you're the one that has the Android. All right. So I am. I'm the one in the universe. Go to your picture app for a second. What's the last photo that you took? Oh man. Of my dog on the couch. That's good. He was kind of in between a pillow and the armrest of the couch, so he was kind of hanging on. It was cute. Wasn't smoking a cigar or anything. Was not smoking a cigar. That was the prior picture. You didn't ask me for the prior picture. You just asked me for that one. Go to your texting app. The last text that you sent and received. I sent it to my wife, And she was asking me a question about work, and I said that was absolutely the right idea.
Excellent. Well, special thanks to Ryan Phelan for being a part of the Nice Guys on Business podcast today. Thanks, Ryan. Really appreciate your conversation.
Thanks, Doug, for having me here. This has been a lot of fun, and good luck to everybody out there.
Thanks. Nice Guy community. Never underestimate the power of nice. Special thanks again to Ryan for being a part of the show. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. They have listeners in other countries? I didn't think anyone was listening outside of their house. Except maybe their moms.